If you've ever gone through like a major transformation or growth within yourself, you may have noticed that other people have a hard time holding the new version of you. They're not willing to accept that it's true. They can say that it's fake or that it's temporary or bring up all the past of who you used to be. And this can be for a number of reasons. One is they probably haven't gone through a spiritual awakening or transformation within themselves yet. And so it's something that, like, once you go through it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, people can change. You can move on. You can grow. And the other reason people may not be able to let you step into this current version of yourself is there's an aspect of them that feels superior in who you used to be. So if there were things that you said or did that maybe you're not proud of, people like to hold on to that because they feel superior in judging you. And in order to allow an evolved version of you to come to be, they have to let go of that power, that superiority that they feel over you. We're all just projecting onto one another our own belief systems. So the brain, if you have a belief, you project it onto your experience, then you look for evidence of it. And they're like, oh, there's a truth. And now you have evidence, and that reinforces that belief, right? And you can say, yeah, but that's true. It's based on truth. Here's evidence of it. That's correct. But there comes this crossroads of, what do you want to live in? Is that belief that you're holding about yourself and about another person and about life in general really serving you? What were to happen if you allowed space for an evolution, if you allowed space for a belief upgrade? The same thing would happen. You would project this elevated belief onto the experience, and you would find evidence and new evidence and new evidence, and that evidence would reinforce the new belief. Are you allowing space for other people to grow, heal, evolve, and expand in the same way that you want it for yourself? Can you recognize the ways in which you may have held on to something? You may have held on to a grudge because there's an aspect of you that felt superior in pointing out this truth of what someone did. It may be the truth, but is it something you want to repeat? Look, if a person has done you wrong and they're never going to change, most likely they're gone. God has removed them from your life. But the people that remain, the people that you have decided, I do actually want a future with these people. I do want them here, and God has put them in my life for a reason. Well, you can't keep them and then also keep them in the past version of self. You have to allow your projection of them, your belief about them, to grow and evolve. Otherwise, you're just going to repeat the same patterns. You're going to keep looking for evidence of the outdated belief. Instead, can you just look for evidence of the new, evidence of the growth, evidence of the evolution, so you can start reinforcing that new upgraded belief? God will bring people into our lives for our growth and expansion, so that we learn to stand up for ourselves, so that we learn to have a voice, so that we learn to see clearly through deceit. But then, after you've gone through those lessons, the next level up is the awareness that everybody is a mirror. That the people that are showing up in your life are a reflection of your own beliefs. That it wasn't about the other people, or it's not anymore. It's just about you. That's a level of responsibility that most people aren't willing to take on. Because let's be honest, it's comfortable being a victim sometimes. It just happened to you, right? And I'm not shaming anyone for whatever has happened to them. But there is this point of recognizing you get to control the outcome. And as long as you continue to talk about and to look for evidence of the old, you're going to keep reliving the old. Can you play pretend for just a little bit that you're safe, that you're loved, that you have the power to participate within this experience, and it starts in your mind space about getting a hold of what you're projecting onto others that is outdated? We have to learn to recognize that just because we have been harmed doesn't mean that, I want to make sure I say this carefully. Just because someone, for example, has said something that harmed you doesn't mean that harm was intended. Being offended is a choice. Being triggered is not somebody else's fault. It's your trigger. The world is not responsible for tiptoeing around your triggers. The world is not responsible to make sure that your wound is never opened back up. And if someone does that, it doesn't mean that they're out intentionally harming you. And if you hold that belief, you are doing so within victim mentality because there's a part of you that feels superior, that you can point at another person and say, oh, they've harmed me in all these ways, without ever taking accountability for your own wounds and triggers and what you're projecting. Freedom comes from within, and it comes from complete responsibility for your thoughts, for your words, for your actions. And part of that is you let everybody off the hook. You let them off the hook. When you do that, it's just you. And you have to be like, oh, I participated in that. Oh, I held that grudge a little too long. Oh, I'm looking for evidence to reinforce an outdated belief that I don't want to repeat. Perhaps I should change that. It's not pretty. It's not pretty, this process of waking up. But it's so worth it. Because when you're able to face yourself, when you're able to own all of your skeletons, like, you're free. There's nothing anybody else can say or do or judge you about what you've been through or who you've been or what you've done. You just own it. Like, yeah, that happened. I don't plan on repeating it. It taught me a lesson, but it's not who I am. I've evolved and grown out of it. But if you want to hold an outdated belief system about me because you feel superior because of that situation, you go right ahead. But I'm not going to alter my beliefs. I'm not going to alter how I walk in the world in order to uphold this wounding and this triggering that you seem to want to repeat. Let people off the hook. You start by letting yourself off the hook. We're all just souls out here doing our bestest, learning lessons, growing and evolving. And the sooner you can let outdated beliefs and projections go, the sooner you can start creating new, cooler stuff. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of how far that you've come. Can you imagine how much further you can go if you just let everyone off the hook and start projecting better onto your life? It's here for you now, right now. You just decide it and you're going to start seeing evidence of it.